Okay, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to create a graph using Google Sheets. So go ahead and navigate to Google Sheets. You can type in sheets.google.com or find it some other way. Once you get to Google Sheets, you'll want to open up a new spreadsheet. You can choose blank. Currently it's named Untitled Spreadsheet, so go ahead and give it a name. You'll be graphing the data from page 36 in your CLAPS workbook, which is Estimated Western Aleutian Sea Lion Population. So go ahead and give it that title. Okay, and now within the sheet, you'll need to recreate the data table. I like to start not all the way up in the upper left-hand corner, but somewhere slightly down into the sheet. And so we're going to create a table with both the year, and the years go from 1955. I can press the tab key to move from one cell to the next. 1960, 1965, and all the way up through 2000. And then also the sea lion population, and that is in thousands. Okay, after you have all of your data entered, there are some tricks you can do to make this look a little bit more like a table. You can select everything that you have here. You want to be careful if you try to drag and select. That can work. I can grab everything. But if I'm clicked in the cell and then I try to drag, okay, it can still work. You got to be careful, because if you grab from here and try to drag this box outward, some different things are gonna happen than you probably expect. It's a useful feature, but not what we want right now. And so another way to select everything, all the data that you've entered so far, is to click up in that cell that has year, and then hold the shift key and click all the way down to 50 is our last data entry, and you can select everything all at once like that. Once you have everything selected, you can click this borders icon and select all borders, and now we have a nice data table. One thing that looks a little bit funny is sea lion population is getting cut off here. You can actually change how the text wraps. There's this text wrapping menu, and if you go to the wrap item, now it'll fit everything inside the cell. Okay, looks good. I've double checked my data. It matches what's on page 36. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert a chart here. So the best thing that you can do is select exactly the data that you want graphed. And so I want everything that's in our data table. So I'm going to select it all again, and then go up to the top menu and click Insert, Insert Chart. Google Sheets is really good at guessing what kind of chart you have. And so, all right, that looks pretty good. A line graph. Line graphs are good at showing changes over time, and that's exactly what we have here. In the sea lion population, we have the years, and we can see how the population is changing over time. And this graph looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, except for the title. The title is kind of basic and not very descriptive. And so I'm actually going to grab the title of the file, and I'm going to edit here the title of the graph. Okay, that looks better. So you might decide that this graph is in a funny place. It's inserted right over the top of our data table. You can move it to a different spot. That might be helpful. There are a few basic changes that you can make if you double click on your chart. You get some customize options, some setup options. One thing when you're making a graph you might want to do is change the chart type. That's in setup. A bar graph or a column chart might work pretty well for this data. It kind of can show us how the population is in each of these years. Because this is time and we're looking for how the population changes over time, I'm going to suggest a line graph, but this bar graph's not bad. And the final thing is how to utilize this graph. If you want to save this graph as an image, or add an image to Google Documents, for instance. This drop-down menu has a bunch of different options for you. You can download it as a picture. You can also just copy it. So I'm going to choose that copy chart. And now you can paste that chart into a Google Doc that you'll submit in Google Classroom.